American Water Polo.
Hi, this is Damon Newman from American Water Polo, and we're here today with Associate Head Coach Merrill Moses from Pepperdine University to better understand the recruiting process. How you doing, Merrill?
Good. How you doing, Damon?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you taking the time.
Of course, of course. Obviously, we're all in our home offices right now, but love to talk water polo any chance I get.
Yeah. You got one of the more impressive offices I've seen. Actually, pretty decorated. I like it.
Many years of water polo.
Yeah. That's pretty special. So, tell me about yourself and tell me a little bit about Pepperdine.
Obviously, you stated an associate head coach for Pepperdine University. Been coaching at Pepperdine since 2012, and also three-time Olympian. Played in the 2008 Olympics, 2012 Olympics, and 2016 Olympics. Was on the national team for over 20 years, and played professionally in Spain, Croatia, and Italy for 2 years. And just very happy that I get to coach the sport that I love and that did so much for me, and coach at Pepperdine, the place that made my career, and watch young boys develop into men, and be a big part of that process.
Yeah, that doesn't always happen. You get to come back and coach the place where kind of your formative years, right?
Yeah, no, it's I love Pepperdine. I love our staff, very supportive, and I love my wife for letting me do what I love, which is I get to be on a pool deck every day coaching.
Awesome, excellent. So, tell me a little bit about how come athletes get recruited? How should they promote themselves? What are the steps you think?
I think the biggest way athletes can promote themselves right now is, we get so many emails a day, and we can't be at all these different pools at one time. And, we're in the technology era where the best way is to send emails with video. And I don't want someone to send a video of, I'm number 9, here's an hour game clip. The video has to be broken down with a circle or an arrow showing who you are. The only position that could do that is a goalie,
Right.
because you can, obviously hone in on them, no problem. But I'll show all facets of the game, break it down with, say this is 6-on-5, this is 5-on-6, me shooting penalties, counterattack, defense. A lot of coaches aren't just looking for, I don't want to see a clip of just a bunch of goals. I want to see how that goal happened. And a lot of coaches are more interested in the defensive end of things. I want to see you be a defensive stopper for sure. I've had some interesting video. I've had someone just shooting in the backyard on an empty net. That's not going to really do much for us. But I will say that I have recruited an athlete out of state just on his video. And I said that he did a great job, and he ended up going to a UC school, which is very well recognized in the water polo world, and they did the same thing. So if you put together a good video and send an email to a coach, most likely they're going to open it.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's good. That's a good, good advice on spot shadowing and really breaking it down and really making it so easy for the coach to see you, right? Because like you said, you probably do see a lot of video where it might be more challenging to see. So do your best to make yourself known in that video.
For sure. And then the other thing I always tell people is when they're getting recruited, don't be discouraged if you don't hear back from the coach right away. We get so many emails. I always say it's a 3-to-1 ratio. You probably have to email them 3 times before you get an email back, because we get so many. But if you put together a good email with a video link, and then also put your resume together as well, that could be something that a coach is going to look at.
Okay, excellent. How does a high school coach or a club coach, what's their role in that process for athletes, becoming noticed, and then that recruiting aspect?
A high school coach obviously can put a recommendation in there. In the email, it's really good that the recruit puts who they play for, club coach, high school coach, so the coach can reach out to those coaches and get a recommendation. Also, I've had high school or club coaches basically reach out to me on the player's behalf.
Okay, excellent. As you kind of go through the process of evaluating talent, with these PSAs, what are some of the character traits that you're looking for that might not show up on the video? And you're like looking into these character aspects of recruit.
One of the biggest things first and foremost is how they are scholastically. The day and age of someone not doing well in the classroom and getting into a top college is over.
Right.
And every program has different cutoffs for sure, but I want to know what type of person you are out of the water in the classroom and your extracurriculars. I want to know if your volunteer work, that's going to show me your character. I want to know if you're part of a church group or, anything that you're doing extra, I want to know about, because that's going to paint the whole picture, because, it's the whole package. It's not just how well you're doing in the water.
Right. That's very true. So we're talking about the process here, and what's been your experience on obviously NCAA rules are such as the ability for coaches to contact athletes, but when should an athlete start this process?
No, it's a great question, and that goes back to if you email a coach and they don't email you back, they might not be able to email you back,
right?
Because the rules have changed since I started coaching, but now, until June 15th of your sophomore year, so going into your junior year, we are not allowed to communicate back to an athlete. So if you email us, call us anything as a freshman, we're not allowed to answer email back at all. We can email back something saying, due to the NC2A rules, we're not allowed to contact you, so they know we received it and they know the rules. But I think it's most important is to narrow down 5 schools that interest you the most, and in those 5 schools, fill out recruiting questionnaires. So every program has a recruiting questionnaire, and I think this is all should be done your sophomore year, because coaches are recruiting younger and younger, and the rules have changed where we're looking to narrow down athletes to make those phone calls or connections June 15th of their sophomore year going into their junior year. So, I say 5 schools because you're allowed 5 official visits. And that doesn't mean you're going to get 5 official visits, but I think it's important to have a broad net to see, what schools are interested in you as well. And you can have up to 10 schools. But I think it's good to email the coaches, let them know you're interested, fill out the recruiting questionnaire, put a video together. I always say if you're contacting coaches and you show the effort and they like the video, they're going to make an effort to come and watch you as well.
Yeah, for sure. So you talked a little bit about phone conversations. Obviously, we know when you are communicating with a recruit, sometimes it can be over text message or social media. There's so many ways now for communication, but I guess the good old-fashioned phone call. How would you recommend an athlete prepare for, say, a potential phone conversation with the coach?
It's kind of funny. Every recruit is different. Some recruits love just to communicate with text. Some love to talk on the phone. And as a coach in this day and age, you kind of respect their differences for sure. But I think it's good to have a communication, especially the more you go into the process with the coach and they're showing interest, you're definitely going to have phone calls. So I just think, just having your facts straight, letting them know that you know about their program shows a lot. You know what they've done, you know what they're about. Just being open and honest about what your goals are, why you want to be part of that program. Be prepared if a coach asks you, if you haven't taken your test score, when you plan on taking it. So, just have all your ducks in a row for when you're going to talk to them. And if you don't know something, say, I don't know, coach, but I'll find out for you.
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing. I think one of the things that's important that I want to stress is the place you go to college is probably one of the most important decisions of your life. I always say that's where you kind of grow up. And so get to know much about that school, coach, and program as possible before you make your decision. And there's lots of different ways, but one of the most important ways to learn about the program is go see a game.
Right.
And watch how that coach coaches, watch how the players interact with the coach. The other thing that I think is important is institutional camps. Most programs have camps where you can spend 3 to 5 days. You're going to get to know that coaching staff. Most of the coaching staff has their current players working with the camps. And also, it's kind of a great way to get to see the campus and spend time on the campus as well. Because, every campus is different, and you got to see if it's a good fit for you.
Yeah. I think those are a lot of really great recommendations to how to go about, evaluating even before you get onto campus, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So, obviously this is a non-traditional year, right, for the world. We're going through the COVID outbreak and the loss for large tournaments that are traditionally played in the summertime being postponed or rescheduled. What should a PSA do to be seen?
Right now, I would tell recruits to email more often now, because if you think about it, all of us are on our computers more because we can't be on the pool deck. So if anything, now is time to send old video, tell the coach what you're doing to stay active and engaged. And it could just be as little as I'm working out at home 3 days a week. I haven't had the chance to take my SAT or ACT because it's been postponed or canceled. Just over communicate with the coaches, letting them know that you're still interested right now, I think is important. And things are going to get back to normal. And when they do, the coaches will remember that. Right. So I think that's important, is not just to seize communication, because a coach appreciates it. Obviously, you're not going to have updated video right now. But that's fine. Every coach knows. And the thing I tell people is everyone's in the same situation. So it's not like another recruit is doing something that you're not or don't have the capabilities to do. No one else is playing tournaments right now. So I just think communicate and let the coaches know that you're still interested in that program.
Great. That's awesome. So you've been at this for a number of years. You've been involved in water polo, obviously, on the collegiate level as well. So can you give me some misconceptions about the whole recruiting process that you've seen, whether it's from parents or athletes, that you would think about important to talk to?
One of the misconceptions I've told you about is, a lot of athletes have said, "Oh, I'm a great water polo player. Grades don't matter." That's not true. Right. I've seen some amazing athletes have doors closed on them because they didn't focus in the classroom. And one thing a lot of recruits don't know is that most schools use your freshman to junior year grades for your admissions process, because you're in your senior year, you're getting admitted. They'll look at your senior year grades, but the most important years is your freshman to junior year. So a lot of people say, "Oh, I was a freshman, I had a slow start." That affects you. So I always say, don't have poor performance in classroom, closed doors. So that's one of the big misconceptions. Obviously, for men and women, different scholarship allowances. But I'd say, the likelihood of getting a full ride your freshman year is very unlikely. On the men's side, we have 4.5 scholarships for the whole team, and on the women's side, 8. So, I think the coaches do their best to spread those out on a need-based and position-based level. So, financial part of the puzzle is important. I have 3 daughters myself, so I understand that. But I don't want people to always think, oh, well, I'm an amazing player, I'm going to get a full ride, because it's very rare.
Right.
So I think those are two of the biggest misconceptions for sure.
Excellent. So final thing, if you've got an athlete who might be interested in Pepperdine or another university, what should their first step be?
Well, I'll go for any university. Their first step
Sure.
should be, again, to let the coach know that you're interested by filling out a recruiting questionnaire.
Cool.
Once you fill out a recruiting questionnaire, we get an alert on our phone that you filled it out. And basically, all these recruiting questionnaires, you can upload everything to video, your swim times, your test scores, your transcripts. So it's kind of an all-in-one package there. Another thing that I always tell people is if you're going to play in college, you have to be part of the NC2A eligibility center. So, get an NC2A eligibility ID number. So that makes the coach know that, you're serious about this recruiting process for sure. And yeah, fill out the questionnaire, send emails, create a resume. And a lot of players right now it's as easy as just creating a YouTube channel and uploading video and sending the coach those links of your game. And when, we do get back to normal and tournaments do happen, I've recruited a player because he updated me so much of when his upcoming tournaments were. And then within that tournament, he updated me after each game. And I'm like, you know what? This athlete really has gone above and beyond. I'm going to go watch a game. And so, the only time I'd say stop communicating with the coach is if they tell you, unfortunately, I don't see you as a good fit for this program. Thank you very much for your, all the communication. If a coach says that, then, it's probably not a good fit and you move on to the next program, but over communication is key.
Excellent. Well, those are some great pieces of advice. Associate head coach, Merrill Moses from the men's program at Pepperdine University, giving us more information about the recruiting process in general. This is Damon Newman from American Water Polo. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, at AmericanWaterPolo.org. And remember, it's important to stay connected to what's important to you. Thanks again, Merrill.
Thank you, Damon. Good luck, everyone.
Thanks.